Kuzangpla and welcome to our weekly news magazine program, Bhutan This Week, our top stories. The second royal child is a prince. Government waives off loan interest for the Youths of Learn and Earn program. And all travellers to be quarantined despite travel history and health status. Now the story in details. The second royal child of Their Majesties, the King and the Queen, a prince, was born on Thursday, corresponding with the 25th day of the first month of the male iron rat year in Dinkan Palace, Thimphu. Her Majesty and the royal baby are in good health, and His Royal Highness the Gaise was delighted to meet his younger brother. The Majesties express their gratitude to the medical team, the Jungratsa, and to everyone for their well wishes and prayers. While this remains a very happy occasion for the royal family and the nation and the people of Bhutan, Their Majesties wish to remind all Bhutanese to be mindful, responsible and supportive to each other in the wake of the COVID-19. Their Majesties have everyone whose lives have been affected by this global pandemic and their thoughts and prayers. And as the nation shares this joyous occasion, the board, management and the employees of BBS would also like to join the nation in congratulating Their Majesties for the second royal child. And now moving forward, upon the command of His Majesty the King, the government waived off interest on loan for all youths who went to Japan through the Learn and Earn program. The government is paying the interest on behalf of the youths. Prime Minister Dr. Lotha Singh handed over the interest amounting to more than 109 million ngutum to Bhutan Development Bank and Royal Insurance Corporation of Bhutan.
The interest waiver, the Prime Minister said, is kidu from His Majesty the King to the youths who went to Japan through the program. For those who have been paying interest till now, the amount paid will be considered as repayment of their principal amount. 743 students availed themselves of loan from the BDBL and RICBL, amounting to a little over 511 million ngutum in total. According to the central bank's calculation, depending on their loan repayment term, each student would have paid interest ranging from 151,000 ngutum to 284,000 ngutum on the principal amount. Meanwhile, of the three youths whose outstanding principal and interest will be cleared, two are dead. The third student, Sonam Tamang, is currently on life support in Japan. The Prime Minister shared that the government is preparing to bring Sonam Tamang back into the country towards the end of this month. Its expenditure is estimated at $14,000. Students of the Learn and Earn program and their parents had requested the government in the beginning of last year to waive off their loans. They reasoned that they are not able to meet living expenses and repay the loan from their earnings. They attributed the situation to a serious breach of contract by their agent, Bhutan Employment Overseas. The students and parents said the BEO misled and deceived them right from the beginning. The agent was accused of procedural lapses and forgery. The government had then deferred the loan repayment in March last year. In the meantime, the case between the parents and students of the program and 11 BEO staff, including 2 proprietors, is with Thimphu District Court. Pupgame for BBS News.
Bhutan's first and only COVID-19 patient was evacuated to his country, the United States of America, for further medical treatment on 13th of this month. The decision was following the request from his family members in the U.S. and in close coordination with the U.S. government through its embassy in New Delhi, India.
A special Phoenix Air ambulance evacuated the patient from Paro International Airport. Going by a press statement from the Health Ministry, the aircraft is medically equipped. It is also staffed with registered nurse and paramedics. The 76-year-old American patient came to Bhutan as a tourist. He entered the country from Paro International Airport on 2nd March. At the airport, he indicated negative for all the conditions related to COVID-19. He was confirmed with the disease only on 5th March. Following this, the patient was kept in the isolation ward identified for COVID-19 patients. He had multiple pre-existing medical conditions which put him under high risk of complications. The Health Ministry stated that considering the patient's age, underlying conditions and the current infection, he required oxygen support from the day of admission. According to the release, Bhutanese medical experts provided the patient with the best medical services. A dedicated team of medical professionals was assigned to look after the patient. The clinical team also sought advices from an infectious disease specialist in Singapore with good experience in COVID-19 management. With the only COVID-19 patient evacuated, for now, Bhutan has 0 case of the disease. Meanwhile, as of yesterday, all 62 COVID-19 suspects who had direct contact with the American patient tested negative. They remain in quarantine centers since last week. Samtan Dolkar, BBS News.
The Indian government assured that basic supplies such as food, medicines and fuel will be supplied regardless of the COVID-19 situation. The government recently consulted the Indian government on their plans and policies in case Bhutan steps into the red zone. Prime Minister Dr. Lottit Singh also shared that such support from a neighboring country is a testimony of the true friendship the nations share in the face of such adversity.
In case Bhutan steps into the red zone stage of COVID-19, lockdown of all affected places will be maneuvered by the government. This would mean that trade and businesses would cease, particularly in the bordering towns. Concerned by the pandemic, the government consulted India on the plans and policies in case the countries need to lock down.
튠 세메디 아님치가 고비 생아치 콘도 대베 주의 수준이베일라 가딤집에 체력 말로 내땅 추어다질로 조디기베 야소바진 체기 람누디 가디베 병원 생아치기 디 수준이베일라 디보더로 공용혼에 대바라 수나데 다게합 튠세 잠니날로 빼자둡지 이세와진 대차로 남베고모 세와진 지지나톱데 베고비세 인게나 바치 레드존나 야소바진 록다운 베고바진 미파다수 도들 베마숍나 야소바진 좀두지 짭베 단디베 자게세 등아치 대베베이스 수준이베일라
Vehicles for transportation of goods, drivers, their safety gears and other resources are being identified. The Prime Minister assured that people need not be worried about food.
코체타 데술라 다섭선 튕겐세우가라 가라멜라 다아니 데 코두 바다모 숨기도노 코두 베도 세슈닐라.
As is the mandate of FCB to maintain adequate essential food reserves for the nation at all times, the ministry currently have 2,200 metric tons of food supply. The ministry also received 300 million ngitam from Finance Ministry to import more. This is Sringdandup for BBS News.
An opportunity amid crisis. The Education Ministry is working on promoting e-learning for students to keep them engaged during emergencies and school closures. A group of teacher volunteers came together with the proposal as schools remained closed following the national COVID-19 emergency.
The group includes more than 2,500 members comprising of teachers, district education officers and supporting staff. E-learning, which refers to learning conducted through electronic media, will be made available through the Bhutan Broadcasting Service and Google Classroom. According to a member teacher, the group aims to grasp the opportunity which will have far-reaching benefits beyond the COVID-19 situation.
During the 2 weeks closure, children cannot go to school for education. So during such situations, how do we as a teacher confront the situation is important. Therefore, we came up with the proposal of e-learning. However, the initiatives that we are taking right now are not only for the COVID-19 situation. Our idea is to go beyond COVID-19. It will be useful throughout.
He added, e-learning will contribute towards creating an archive of online learning materials. The group also donated a sum of over 1.2 million yuan to the government for combating COVID-19 situation in the country. The Prime Minister also mentioned of the e-learning proposal during a press conference yesterday.
다같이 구다리 쪽에 주디 같이 내라파로 distance education se no through digital media be janda기 혼래 이루다에 컴퓨터기 톨래 이루다에 tablet기 톨래 이루다에 아니 페셔트니 레림 구쪽에 세벤디기 도도콩 순르티 나도서 주니빈라 당같이 공기 페셔디 뛴디 드라존자 다마 사칭 같이 janda기 혼래 땅다게 에세 딜렌 인터넷 다 유튜브기 혼래 베타 안달로 고급 토브라 마토미 당같이 유카기 타조기 유나기 팜디수기 인터넷 시미 가시나라 마시미 미디수기 알루술루 베와친 데 태블릿 베가치라 가라 티나루 셀러버스 디 가라 다운로드 베베 다니베 피니 고급에 두 세메니기 차지아니베 잠도 세슈니베라.
While the e-learning system in the country is being prepared, many schools that remained closed are keeping their students engaged by giving assignment and homework through social media groups. Giladem for BBS News.
Two Bhutanese men were detained recently for lying about their travel history. The Prime Minister, during a press conference, urged people to honestly declare their travel history as they enter Bhutan.
Prime Minister informed the media that Bhutanese are found lying and providing wrong details as they enter the country.
미기 참 수메에서 주니베라 같이 카체 고민이 되지 다수인지 마 살레온 놈에 사고 젠칼레온메 나파 녀스 잡아 송소미세 다니베 수메에서 주니비 록댕아 치기 디워틀린 베베 소소칼레 다수메갈레 데콩 다 린살레 준준메라 다니베 준준메에서 주니비 지디 아메리카레 준준메메라 단수 다순치 아니 다수미수 또또 도다몰루유에서 주니비 콩 주자미기 단수 맨라 콩 디텐션 나이에서 주니비 코런타인 나 맨에서 주니비라.
Bhutanese residing abroad are asked to either register with the Health Ministry or contact the nearest embassies for help if they wish to return home.
다 주디 자미디 랑기 친나 주자니나 마치 소일 행가기베 단지 탑디 유미기 사고나 자니나디 나 힙당 같이 디워틀린 베도시 이스슈니비 년카치 수치 베와진 마치 소일 행가기 사고 뉴len 베 자미나도 주장 데 제고 탑 마디우카라 중기 차숑 우스슈니비 당년칸 남스미 밉 줌치 베와진 데 란스기 짐추나로 데타 주나 생가치기 데베 수우타운 우스슈니비.
Currently, 62 first contacts are in the quarantine centers and 330 secondary contacts are in self-quarantine. Sangich Som for BBS News.
Since 16th March, all travellers entering Bhutan are quarantined in designated quarantine facilities for 2 weeks. Only minors and patients returning from treatment overseas will be allowed to stay quarantined at home after an undertaking is signed with a parent or guardians. Such measures, according to the Health Minister, are to ensure better prevention of the spread of the coronavirus.
Earlier, travellers entering Bhutan were quarantined based on travel history and health status. However, the Health Minister said there have been many cases of people hiding their travel history. The Health Ministry therefore decided to quarantine all travellers. The Health Minister said quarantining travellers entering Bhutan from southern borders are challenging as many try to hide their travel history.
We have incidents in Jehgangla. People are coming from, say Nepal, Bodh they just send their luggage with a car and then they go across the border and they cross and they say, oh, I've just been to the vegetable market. But then after a few times we hear that, oh, they are actually coming not from the vegetable market, but they are actually coming having spent, few days or weeks in other part of the country.
The Health Minister added they are also planning to start a bus service for travellers arriving from Guwahati so that everyone can be taken to the quarantine facility. Day workers are exempted from being quarantined. However, strategies would change if there is an outbreak in those bordering towns. Meanwhile, house quarantine for minors and patients will be approved upon detailed inspection of the house and will be monitored by health officials daily. The health minister said such quarantine measures are taken up although it would cost huge expenditure because prevention is very important.
If you look at the WHO guideline, international recommendation, we are taking extreme precautions. Even quarantine, WHO ki recommendation is home quarantine la. But we are saying, my God, public immediately. So we don't want to land up like in countries where you have massive outbreak. We say, prevent. Prevention is good. So this is where we are putting the effort in la.
The health minister shared quarantining a person cost 1,000 USD a day just for food. With support from private individuals, she says the government is trying its best to provide good facilities in the quarantine centers. Kiletem for BBS News.
Beginning Wednesday, all entertainment centers will remain closed until further notice. The government announced this measure to discourage gatherings so as to prevent the spread of COVID-19. Meanwhile, no restriction has been drawn on playing archery and other games. Also, religious events such as annual Rimdro and Techus are not restricted.
Zomzo ruru beudalo tengachara chi kengop kachidu sewachin teta ati totun kha tengachara ki dayang dance to jodalu teta chapchure je den begomi mabe Bema chomi be tu dumtare shoni gi nyenka masu yumi sago inani majigidi dazi dugoe zomdu rurura I ane zemada senga chinghole su debara tabdo se shunibi deboda dumtare zedaroe teta mapalera bema chobe to tonga chekagdam mabela tani dazi dugoe bema chobi gi kagdam di beigale ingena bewachin lockdown di la ane benga chi gya kamnalu ne ni sumsu kai kusale tun thomachin titingale kokobra mi shunibi lockdown de anyola.
Bhutanese living across the border in Jaigaon are gradually moving to Phuntsiling. This is one of the measures to counter an emergency in case the Indian town reports of a positive COVID-19 case. The government urged Bhutanese families living across the border to immediately consider moving in with relatives within the country or even return to their villages until the magnitude of situation subsides.
As of now, over 1,000 Bhutanese living in Jaigaon have moved to Phuntsiling. Many are adjusting with their friends and families. A few are managing with available office spaces and other temporary arrangements.
I am happy to move to Phuntsiling because in case there is a positive case in Jaigaon, the border gates would be sealed. Then there will be no one to take care of us across the border. Here in Phuntsiling, we have medical facilities readily available. I live in Jaigaon where the fear of coronavirus is widespread, although there is no positive case reported. But even if a single case is confirmed, I heard the border gates will be sealed. As a result, we will have a difficult time. Our children will not be able to attend school. Moreover, I have no relatives living in Phuntsiling. So for now, like many others, I went and registered my case with the Dungkhok administration.
Employers are also taking responsibility to bring in their staff living in Jaigaon. A few industries in Pasaka have built temporary shelters while others are working on it.
I used to stay in Jaigaon until a few days ago. During that time, I had to enter and exit the gate daily. With the fear of the virus, I was worried, and so were my parents and relatives in the village. They kept calling me. But now, with the Bhutan This initiative, I have moved to Phuntsiling. I feel safer here. My parents and relatives are also relieved.
The Dzongkhag level committee formed for COVID-19 plans to bring in all Bhutanese residing in Jaigaon to Phuntsiling as soon as possible. In case of any positive case of COVID-19, the risk of it spreading is high in Phuntsiling. The town's border with Jaigaon is porous, and every day thousands of people move in between these two places.
Meanwhile, screenings are in full swing at 4 points of entry in the town. Team is also stationed at Pasaka. Besides, a testing center is established and quarantine facilities identified. For Sonam Penjor in Phuentsholing, this is Tandem Finso for BBS News.
With the motive to develop and revamp the image of technical and vocational education and training in the country, a TVET interim office was established in Thimphu. The team, comprising of 5 members, will officially work towards formation of an autonomous agency related to TVET.
Prime Minister Dr. Lote Tshering inaugurated the interim office located in Chobachu.
Job seekers do, and we have a gap to do.
There are jobs and job seekers as well. But in between these two, there is a gap because job seekers lacked the skills required. Moreover, TVET sector is not very popular among the youths. Only those students who do not land anywhere opt for TVET courses. Everyone is of the opinion that graduates from these institutions will be left unemployed. So, establishing a dedicated office is one of the biggest steps towards solving such issues.
And I would say this is the step in.
The office, for now, will be under the Prime Minister's office. It will be de-linked as an independent entity once its service condition and standard operating procedures are ready.
So the whole idea during the interim office is to do all the consultation and then also the studies of the TVET reform on how to go forward. So I think at this point it will be premature to say this will be de-linked law, that will be added law. I think this is very, very premature. The main thing is I think government has taken this big initiative to reform the entire TVET sector.
The government pursued TVET reforms since last year. Currently, 2 expert groups are working on the new curriculum for skills and competency relevant to the 21st century and also ensuring governance structure of the revised system.
If you look at the unemployment numbers, the unemployed youth who has university degree is higher than 40-50%. So half the students who come back after they finish their degree, they have no job left. On the other hand, I think if you look at the vocational and skilled children, there's ready job market for them. So I think this is one of the things we need to really impress on parents and children, saying that, look, there is an opportunity for you to get skilled, not only get skilled, but get good salary.
Of the total budget of over 1 billion Newton, the Labour Ministry received for the fiscal year 2019-2020, the TVET sector received more than 500 million Newton. It is to strengthen TVET system and improve access, quality and relevance through the infrastructural expansion and capacity building of faculties. Today, there are about 1,000 trainee students under various TVET institutes in the country. This is Pasam Doji for BBS News.
And this brings us to the end of this week's edition of the Bhutan This Week. Until next time, I'm Cheku, signing off only for now.